Your goals have to be measurable, and you have to decide how you're going to go about measuring them. Hey everyone, it's great to see you again. We're about to jump into a brand new video, but first let's recap just a little bit. In the last video we did on working your plan, we talked about how we go through the whole process of defining the goals that we want to achieve and then boiling them down into tasks that need to be accomplished. But then we develop a weekly plan, we execute the plan, we review our plan on a daily basis and make any adjustments that need to be made, and then we repeat that process over and over and over. This video ties into that and is sort of an adder to the last video because this video is about monitoring progress. We have to know where we are in relationship to the accomplishment of our goals at any point in time. One of the things that I talk a lot about with both individuals and business owners is that you get what you measure. You get what you measure, and I wish that more people would just burn that into their minds, that measurement is really, really important. World famous management consultant Peter Drucker said, if you can't measure it, you can't change it. And that's really, really true. And that's why, as part of the goal setting process, I use what's called the SMARTER process. It's an acronym, and the M in SMARTER stands for measurable. Your goals have to be measurable, and you have to decide how you're going to go about measuring them. Because if we don't measure, then we can't gauge the progress that we're making, and we don't know necessarily if we're on track to achieve a goal. I don't know how many times I've sat with clients who are in the process of trying to achieve goals, and as we're getting to know each other and we're working on things, maybe they set a goal that's out 6 months, and they're 4 months into that 6-month process, and I ask them, well, where are you? What percentage of your goal is complete? And they say, well, maybe 10%. Well, you're 2/3 of the way through the time frame that you've given yourself. So either you're going to have to hustle like crazy to get it complete in that 6-month time frame, or you're going to have to push the goal out because you don't have enough time to be able to get it done. But the key to it is that if you had been monitoring your progress all along, you would have known a long time ago that you were starting to slip, and maybe you would have had enough time to make the appropriate adjustments to get to where you need to be. So the real question here is, when it comes to measurement and monitoring our progress toward our goals, how do we go about doing it? For some goals that may be shorter term, all you really need to do is have an end date. And as you're doing your daily and weekly review, go back and look at your goals and ask yourself, where am I? I've got a due date that's coming up in 3 or 4 weeks. Does it look like I'm on target is there anything that I need to change, anything I need to adjust? For some of the goals that we have, that's what we need. When it comes to things like habit goals, though, sometimes what we need to do is to have a checklist. And that checklist might be part of your daily planner. It could be something that you hang on your refrigerator. So that, let's say that you want to get in better shape and you've committed to going for a walk 3 days a week for the next 90 days. Well, you could have a little checklist on your refrigerator that says walk on the top and the dates down the side of the checklist, and every day that you go for a walk, when you come back from the walk, you put a little check mark there. And that gives you an instant visual recognition of exactly where you are. Are you doing the 3 days a week, or aren't you? Have you fallen behind? Maybe you did a little bit more, but it gives you that visual representation of the progress that you're making toward the goal. And that, sometimes there are other monitoring processes that need to be a little bit more detailed. And that can be determined, I think, by 2 things. Number 1 is the type of goal that you're trying to achieve. And number 2 is the type of personality that you have. And let me give you a quick example of that. I'm a type 2 diabetic, and 10 years ago, I had a heart attack. And at the time, I'm only 6'1", and at the time I weighed 259 pounds. And so I had a little conversation with my cardiologist, and he said, Gary, you really need to lose some weight. You need to drop like 40 pounds, at least 40 pounds. And I said, okay. And we went through the whole process of, you need to get out and you need to, walk briskly for a mile at least 5 days a week. And then you need to eat healthier and that sort of stuff. So initially I created a checklist that says, okay, did I eat healthy today? And did I get my walk in? But then I began to look at it and say, it's really not so meaningful to me because I'm an engineer. I like to see trends. I like to see statistics. And so what I did was I created a very simple spreadsheet where every day when I get up in the morning, I weigh myself, and that gets recorded on the spreadsheet. I check my fasting blood sugar, and then later in the day, I check my blood sugar a couple of hours after I've had a meal, and I actually chart that information so that I can see it every day when I sit down and I'm recording it. I can see the progress I'm making. I can see, is the trend line going in the right direction? So those are some of the things that we can do, but the real key to it is that we must be monitoring our progress toward our goals. And as part of the weekly reviews that we're doing, we need to be going back and reviewing all of our goals and saying, where are we? And am I making adequate progress toward the attainment of my goals? Which goals am I a little bit ahead on? Which goals am I right on target with? And more importantly, which ones am I falling behind on? And how do I tweak things? How do I adjust the things that I'm doing to make sure that I'm achieving the goals in the time frames that I've specified? I hope you found this useful. God bless you. Go live your day on purpose, and I'll see you again soon.